Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. Before we get into this, I need to give you a warning. What you're about to hear is appalling. I'm going to tell you things that you are going to be horrified by. This will be I've attempted to do this video 3 times. I've had to walk away twice. I've had to go and calm down twice. I think I'm in a position where I can do this dispassionately, finally. But it is horrific. And I will say now, before I get into it, if I do blow me top at some point, you will understand why once you go through this journey with me. It is absolutely horrific. So you can't say you're not warned. The content is awful. It's true. And you need to be aware of it. But the first time I went through, I was sweary, ranty. I couldn't stop myself. I had to get up, walk away. I had to go and make a cup of tea. I came back, said, right, I'll do it again. Blew me top again. Third time lucky. Let's go. And like I say, deep breath, put your big boy pants on, pull your hat down firmly because you're going on a wild ride of unbelievable malfeasance of justice. Here goes. Normally I start at the top. Normally I would say, here's the headlines and whatever. I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to show you this guy. I want you to look at this face. I want you to memorise this face. I want this face to never leave your consciousness. Because this guy is called Sheriff Nigel Morrison. And when we go through this piece, you're going to want, like I do, you're going to want Sheriff Nigel Robinson to suffer greatly, absolutely greatly, because unfortunately he is unlikely to ever see the inside of a jail cell. But I think that if there was any natural justice, this man would be locked up. The sheriff now, that judge, would be locked up for the remainder of his natural life because of what he has done. We're going to go on this journey, and I'm going to try my best to be calm this time. Serial sex offender able to R again after a sheriff ruled he was not a danger to the public. Trust me, you will blow your stack. Mohammed Akram managed to get restrictions lifted by a court while he was already abusing his victim, who he continued to R for another 5 years. And if I told you that's not even the worst of it, it gets way, way worse. You are going down a very, very dark rabbit hole with me now. A serial sex offender and convicted killer was able to carry out a series of R's after a sheriff ruled he was not a danger to the public. Mohammed Akram, 64, was the first offender ever to get his sexual offences and prevention order, a SOPO, lifted, which meant he was no longer under constant police supervision. And boy, should he ever have been. But even as Sheriff Nigel Morrison freed him from the order, Akram had already began abusing his latest victim and continued to Ara for another 5 years after the controversial decision. He is now facing a lengthy jail sentence after being convicted of the new attacks at the High Court in Glasgow last month. And sadly, that man, that piece of human filth, is not in the cell with him. Look at him, smug, self-satisfied grin. It's the grin of someone. Now, I'm going to say at this point, before we go in, because you just got to wait. I'm going to suggest this guy is so lenient on Akram because I think perhaps kindred spirit, maybe. Who knows? I can't say he is, but I'm suggesting that maybe he's looked at him and gone, well, I wouldn't want anyone doing that to me if I was getting away with it. I'd like to get away with it too. Oh yeah, I wouldn't want to do it. I think probably very, very similar views, should we say, on this particular set of behaviours. It's the only explanation. And I hope he's very proud of himself when he knows exactly what he's done. Here we go. Are you ready for this? The case has raised questions over the controversial decision made by the sheriff against advice from police and a psychologist. Sarah Brindley, the chief executive of Our Crisis Scotland, said the criminal justice system should work to protect survivors and members of the community. Whenever decisions about sentences or restrictions for convicted perpetrators are made, a sense of justice for the survivor should never be lost. Well, it certainly has this time. Conditions of Akram's SOPO meant him being under constant supervision, and he also had to inform police of every contact he had with women who were not relatives, including new relationships. He was handed the SOPO after being convicted of a serious sexual assault of a 16-year-old girl in 2003. He was handed the SOPO after being... Police had applied for it in April 2014 after Akram was identified as a future risk to women. During the 2017 hearing at Edinburgh Sheriff Court, psychologist Dr. Ewan Lundy said the risk of Akram reoffending was high based on his past behaviour. Now, I'm not a psychologist, but I'm going to tell you now, when you see his past behaviour, which we will, you too will agree instantly that the risk is going to be high. Sheriff Morrison dismissed the concerns of Police Scotland in his judgment and even ordered the force to pay the court costs. Last month, Akram was convicted of repeatedly R-ing one woman between December 2010 and March the 1st, 2022. 12 years. 12 years of abuse because that judge let Akram off and said, no, you're free. Go, be free. Do what you want. The attacks happened at a flat in Newhaven in Edinburgh and at Pollock Shields in Glasgow. And is anyone surprised about Pollock Shields? We know the area. Akram was also found guilty of R-ing the same woman in Edinburgh in March 2021 and of repeated assaults between 1995 and 2000 in Glasgow and Clackmannan. Jurors heard she was not his only victim. So this has been going on for her from 1995 until 2022. And that judge says, no, he's not a danger to women. He can go free. Jurors heard she was not his only victim. He also R-ed a vulnerable girl at a flat in Stirling in January 1997. The physical violence included him headbutting and spitting on her, hurling plates of food as well as brandishing a knife. The court heard if Akram did not get what he wanted, he would go mental. Sexual contact was also on his terms. Prosecutor Kath Harper said, the Mohammed Akram described in this court is not one you recognise. And he replied, I thought I was fine. He also claimed the account given by the girl he R-ed in 1997 was 100% lies. But then he would say that, wouldn't he? She has since passed away. Now, this was the vulnerable girl, and by passed away they meant self-ended. He claimed that she had initiated the sexual conduct. Yeah, well, he's going to say that as well, isn't he? The prosecutor why a young, upset and vulnerable girl at the time would have done this. Akram replied, why are you shocked? Is it because I'm an older man now? No, it's because you were a perv then, you're a perv now. He was also found guilty of 5... Now, this is where we get into it, so deep breaths. He was also found guilty of 5 charges against a third female, 3 Rs, an attempted murder and an indecent assault. These were committed between June 1999 and October 2001 at addresses across Scotland, including Aberdeen and Stirling. Now, attempted murder, 3 rapes, all the other rapes, all these things. And that judge says he's not a danger to women. It's bad. I know it's bad, but trust me, we haven't got to the bad bit yet. Akram, who denied the accusations, did not appear from the cells to hear the verdicts at the High Court in Glasgow. He's due to be sentenced later this month. Deep breath, ready to go. Akram has a string of convictions for serious crimes stretching back 45 years. He was locked up for 5 years in 1979 for the culpable homicide of a man behind a pub in Glenrothes in Fife. So he's actually killed someone. In 2003, he was then handed an 8-year sentence for the sexual assault of a teenage girl. Akram was later released, but he went on to be convicted in 2012 of abusing a 4-year-old girl. But the conviction was overturned after the judge misdirected jurors. The judge fucked up. But otherwise, it had been a 4-year-old girl. Davy Thompson, campaign director for White Ribbon, which aims to end men's violence against women, said recent cases have once again raised the need for sexual offences at all levels to be taken seriously, for rigorous measures to be made available to monitor offenders and to monitor judges as well, it seems. Calm. Scottish Conservative Deputy spokesperson Sharon Dowie said the relentless weakening of the justice system means dangerous criminals like this are all too often free to offend again. So, this is a man who, over the course of 45 years, sexually abused a 4-year-old, sexually abused several teenagers, murdered one man, attempted murder of another woman, committed multiple R's on many women. And a judge lets him go off and wander away because he's no longer a danger to the public. That judge is still in place. That judge is still judging people. And I'm just going to say this. How dare he? How dare he sit in judgment over anyone? That judge needs to be in prison with Akram, and he needs to do the rest of his life in prison with Akram. Make them jail cell buddies. And then every day the judge can wake up, look at Akram and think what he's done, and remove from him everything. I've got through to the end and I haven't lost it. Coming up. Now, I don't really have a lot to add. I think everything was said within that piece, but it does go to show the state of justice in Scotland, and it isn't getting better. And when you've got judges like this, what the hell do you expect? I said it was a tough one, and I hope it hasn't spoilt your evening. We're going to finish on a lighter note, but that is a story I felt needed to come out, and everyone needs to be aware of what you're dealing with. Till next time, stay safe, stay well, and I will speak to you later. Bye.